straight. Hi guys, it's Olena of popthepimple.com and welcome to Creating a Meditation Habit Month. Today is day 19.
Yeah! The crowd goes wild, yeah!
Okay, say hello, let me know where you're from, etc. You know the drill. Or, post an emoji of your current mood. I was just actually watching The Bachelorette. Last night's episode, I just started watching it. And I can't wait to see what happens because Becca looks disappointed. And there's, the male model guy, Jordan, on The Bachelorette. I find him hilarious. I feel like somebody writes his lines. It's just too good. Everything he says is so amazing, so ridiculous. I mean, obviously, I don't know if he's like the right guy for Becca, but he is so entertaining to watch. Oh, hi, Ricardo. Yes, I watch reality TV. I love reality TV. Morning, Ricardo, morning. Morning from Paris to Maryland. So, is everyone ready to meditate? But seriously, reality TV, I think, is totally undervalued. It teaches so many life skills. Or it can if you think of it like that. Like if you look at it objectively and you can see like, okay, this is how miscommunications happen. Okay, that person's handling the conflict too aggressively. It would be better to handle it this way instead of that way. You know what I mean? And you can learn like that. That's how I do it. My nose is itchy. Better not be itchy during the meditation. Okay, Ricardo's ready to meditate. Helena's not here though yet. What are we gonna do, Ricardo? What are we gonna do? There's a few other, consistent meditators that I don't see right now. So let's give them another moment. Meanwhile, I will bring up my meditation timer. So that's gonna be ready. 15 minutes. How's your day going? It's very good, Ricardo. Very productive, lovely. I feel amazing after yesterday's day because, yesterday I did the running, the yoga, the meditating twice. So I'm still feeling the effects of yesterday's efforts in a very, very positive way. Like my body feels stronger. I feel more energetic. I feel more focused, more intentional, and happy and chillaxed. It's very nice. I'm just gonna let Helena know. Sometimes Helena needs a personal invitation to come meditate with me, so I just, meditation on Facebook, I just told her, in case she forgot, because sometimes she does forget, but also she's a very busy girl, my Helena, who is an app developer. So she is coding her own app currently, so obviously she's very, very busy. It's a lot. I mean, working from home is so wonderful on the one hand, because you can pretty much work whenever you feel like it. And in your pajamas, or wearing nothing. She's here. I was just talking about you, Olena, how you're an app developer. And then I was talking about working from home and how we have this amazing freedom to do whatever the fuck we want all day. That means sometimes, focusing a little too much on self-care and self-love and not enough on moving forward in our goals. At least I'm speaking for myself because I have so much on my plate. It's not even funny. All of the editing I still have left to do on my course and But it's exciting and it's fun, and like yesterday I whipped out 3 videos, like bam, bam, bam. I was like a productive machine, but obviously I was a productive machine because I spent half the day on self-care, so the few hours that I did spend working were very productive. So maybe that's another thing that meditation is good for, is when you basically maximizing your productivity. So when you are doing something like working, creating, you're just more efficient at it, you're better at it, you're more focused, so meditation keeps winning. Oh my God, I love it. Are you guys seated in a comfortable position? I'm wearing the exact same outfit I wore yesterday, except different bra and underwear. Because I love this outfit. This is such a perfect meditation outfit. I feel like some, angel. An angel coming to life to meditate. Yeah, that's how I feel. I love wearing white. If I could wear white all year long, I would be very happy. And if I didn't really have to wear shoes, I would also feel quite happy. I should live on an island like Seychelles. I've been kind of thinking about this recently. That's come into my awareness, like Bahama-esque or Seychelles-esque type of island where I would like to live that has excellent internet, where I can throw retreats, where people can come from around the world to get, clear skin training live from me, where we can meditate together, where we can learn everything in person, wash the face properly, how to moisturize properly, how to apply actives and which actives, etc., etc. It could be such a fun thing. And did I mention meditate together, journal together, do some round fire powwows in the evening, drinking lemon water or really good relaxing tea. I don't know, I just see that in my future and it's so good. It's such a good idea. Helena says, warm climate by the sea, ocean, yes. Yes, I see that as my lifestyle in the future, but I also see it as an opportunity to basically meet a lot of my clients in real life, because that's the best. Super fun. Helena is somebody I met through the internet, and then we actually met in real life last time I was in Warsaw. I took a very long layover in Warsaw, where we just strolled the streets and chatted all day, and it was just the most natural thing. And we had never met before. It was like a first date. Could have gone so terribly wrong. But no, got to hang out with her and even met her lovely fiance. I mean, our stories are eerily similar. We're both Ukrainian. We're both engaged to our dream men. She knows her life's purpose, I know mine, and we're kind of in parallel heading towards there, becoming the women who we want to be. And it's really nice to have a friend like that, who keeps me honest. She keeps me honest. If I fucking make a spelling mistake, she will tell me. She's the only friend I know who, whenever I make any spelling mistake, she will fucking see that shit. She will send it to me, and then I'll have to fix it, because inside I'm the spelling police. I don't mind when other people make spelling errors and stuff, but I try to keep myself or hold myself to a pretty high standard in terms of writing. Sometimes obviously typos happen. And Helena's like, you watch that shit. No, but she keeps me honest on other areas of my life too, besides spelling. Love and light to you, Helena, Ricardo says. Yeah, see, I'm meeting so many nice people through the internet, and it's just, that's so amazing. I feel really blessed with our little community here, that I'm slowly building. By the way, I also have another community that I don't talk a lot about, because it's, it's kind of like a paid community, and it's for people who are very serious about getting clear skin. It's called the Cure It With Love coaching community, where it's like a Facebook group, but there's all this exclusive content and videos. And yesterday I did a training on how to do a chemical peel, and with pro tips and everything. So that's my actual passion project. That community is really, really important, because I get to help people more hands-on, and they have questions and I can answer them in live videos and all this stuff. So it's a very supportive place for people who have one goal: clear skin. Maybe I'll provide a link. You get so much content. Even if you're there for a week, you get so much good content and access to me, to ask questions. It's not about that today. Today, we are meditating. Okay. All right, day 19. Guys, this is amazing. Day 19. We only have 11 days to go after this. Okay. Comfortable position. Who is doing receptive? Who's grounded today? Let me know in the comments below, and we can begin. Today I am feeling grounded, because I have a buttload of inspiration. I'm gonna just connect with myself, be present with Olena, check in with Olena, see what Olena has to say, if anything, I love this stuff, guys. I love it. I'm so glad that you made it non-negotiable for me to meditate every single day, because if it wasn't for you, I'd probably quit the first weekend, because it's so much easier for me to maintain the habit if I have accountability. And so After this month, I'm gonna need some real accountability. I mean, I really enjoy it myself, but it would be nice to have some accountability as well, because I'm not a liar, so I'm not gonna lie to my accountability partner and be like, yeah, I meditated today. Olena says, perfect timing, just finished eating. Perfect, that's what I did. I like scarfed my food down because I'm like, I have to meditate. And I could not wait until after the meditation to eat today because I was really hungry for some reason. Even though, funny enough, yesterday I waited until like 5 p.m. to eat for the first time. And by the way, that's not crazy when I'm saying like waiting a long time to have breakfast or your first meal, because the longer your gut can rest without digesting anything, the better it is for your gut. I mean, like 8, 10, 12 hours is ideal. 12 hours is perfection. If you cannot eat like from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m., perfection for your body. And then you can wake up, have your breakfast, blah, 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 and start your day. Because your liver has a clock just as your body has a circadian clock. And so it kind of needs to start, doing, like this is a very long story, but this is basically intermittent fasting. It's really good to confuse your body with different food timing, because if you're too regular, then your metabolism kind of plateaus. But if you're a little like this, and you keep your body guessing in terms of when you're going to ingest your food next, then that could be very good to speed up fat loss and to maximize lean muscle mass. I'm not saying you have to have a totally random, chaotic food schedule, but once in a while, it's good to like skip breakfast and, eat your first meal a little later in the day so that your gut gets a nice break for longer. This is just very beneficial for your gut. Health kind of starts with the gut. The gut, the brain, super important. I mean, the heart, but super important, especially for, mental health and insulin sensitivity and stuff like that. So good to kind of go through short little periods of fasting. I'm not saying don't eat for 3 days, but just do your research on intermittent fasting. I actually have a whole article on it on popthepimple.com. This one hack will lower inflammation, reduce insulin sensitivity, and something else. Oh yeah, and improve lean muscle mass or something like that. Because it's that simple if you just eat within a window of 8 to 12 hours and then allow your gut to have a break. Just amazing things can happen for your body. Anyway, you know me, tips nonstop. Ricardo says, I make sure my alarm goes off so I can make sure I'm here. Ricardo sets up his alarm to meditate every day at 3 p.m. Paris time. Yes! That's dedication. Guys, take note from Ricardo, okay? You could set your alarm to 3 p.m. Paris time every single day and show up on Instagram and meditate. And even Alejandro is here. Wait. ¿Cómo está? I forgot all my Spanish. It's just not coming to me. ¿Por qué? Because perché is Italiano. Because I took Italian and Spanish and confused the two. It's terrible because when I'm in Italy, I'm like trying to speak Spanish, and I feel like when I'll be in Spain, I'll be fucking trying to speak Italian. Very lucky that I speak French here and not like Italian or Spanish. Okay, muy bien. Let's comenzar. Begin. I assume you're in a comfortable position. I will start talking in a whisper because I will press start very shortly. So I hope you are comfortable. Your hands and everything, your back is straight. Just a recap of what we're doing. You're sitting in silence with your eyes closed, breathing in and out. And anytime a thought comes in to distract you, because it might, that's okay. Allow it to come and go like clouds, Your thoughts aren't good or bad, they just are, okay? So let them come and go. Pay them no mind. Just focus on your breath. Allow your focus to go back to your breath each time. Okay? And also allow your focus and your energy to look here with your eyes closed and see what you can see. Yeah. You might see something, you might see nothing. It could be colorful, it could be images. You don't know what it's gonna be. Be open to whatever comes. 101. Very simple. Okay, I'm going to press start, and then we're going to meditate for 15 minutes, at the end of which the timer will go off, sounding like this. Alright, I just wanted to let you know that everything is working. Don't stress out about the time. You will hear the timer at the very end. Okay. I am pressing start on 3, 2, 1. just have to write something down because stuff came to me. Okay. How was that for you? I had moments of like almost empty mind, and then I had moments of like, here's an idea, here's an idea, here's an idea, do this, do this, do this. I assume I have to do these things that I was called to do, and one of them that I was called to do is go after this, hop on into my Cure It With Love coaching community and do a video about acne identity, like moving past the identity of having acne. I think that's very, very important because a lot of people with acne hold on to the idea that they have acne even when their skin is pretty much clear, you know, when the acne is more or less gone. So that's the idea that really was important. Alejandro says, still is being hard for me, but I'll keep trying. Artist mind is working like hell. I can totally relate, Alejandro. I can totally relate. I feel the same way a lot of times. But like I said, because we were messaging about this earlier today, the more you practice, the easier it becomes, you know. It's just don't give up. There's nothing wrong with you. The mind is very active and the ego is very active too. The ego's like, oh, do this, be this. I think meditation with time stills the ego as well. Not only does it still the mind, it stills the ego. But what do I know? It's very important to stay open in life and not think that you know everything. This I've learned many times. I like saying, what do I know? My boyfriend always says, what do you know? it's a phrase we have with each other. I sometimes go, what do you know? You know, especially when it's especially when we're talking about something French, like cheese. I'll be like, what do you know? Alejandro says, I'll keep trying because my mind just wants to kind of kill me. No, your mind doesn't want to kill you. Your mind wants to distract you. Because here's the thing. What I'm about to say may sound crazy. Okay. Olena can take it, but I don't know if any of the rest of you can. What we're here for, each and every one of us, is to figure out who we are. That sounds a little maybe abstract, but the answer to that question is actually the same for each and every one of us. We are all, maybe you can figure out the answer. We are all, Helena's sending me hearts, I can see it. We are all God. Now that might terrify you, like, no, God is separate from me. Nope. God is you experiencing itself through you. God is me experiencing itself through me. God is my phone experiencing itself through my phone. God is this mat I'm sitting on. Everything is God. If you like, you can change the word God for life and you will still have the same thing. I am life experiencing itself through this body. Life is also experiencing itself through my phone. Life is experiencing itself through a rock, through a tree, through a bird, through a plane. Here's the thing though, when we're born, we, are surrounded by people who have forgotten who they are, just as we, born into this body, forget who we are. And the whole point of life, it's very simple, is just to remember who we are. And that means removing all the conditioning, the limitations that are set upon us by the people around us, just to remember who we are. And the ego is there to keep us in the illusion that we are all separate, that there's not enough for all of us. The ego basically equals separation. But ironically, what causes us the most pain is believing in this perception or illusion of separation. You, me, we're all one, okay? And the sooner we can realize that, the sooner we can be nicer to one another, because if I'm mean to you, I'm technically just being mean to myself, right? If I'm killing somebody, I'm just killing myself, because we're all one, right? If hurting the planet, for instance, I'm hurting myself, so once you start thinking that, hey, that is just an extension of me, whatever I'm looking at, whatever is next to me, whatever I'm sitting on, that's just an extension of me. I get to play with that. I get to have fun in this experience, right? But I also, just knowing, having the awareness that the other person is me, I could just be a much, much nicer person, and therefore their experience can be that much nicer and everybody else's, and it's just this chain reaction of love and wonderfulness. But the ego is afraid for us to realize that, because then it becomes obsoleted. The ego becomes totally useless, because the ego is there to protect us from, to keep us safe from these perceived dangers. But the only reason that anything is dangerous is if we think that it's separate from us. That's the only way we can actually accept that to be true. If you are separate from me, and I don't know what your intentions are, maybe I should mistrust you, maybe I should kind of be a little defensive when you try to talk to me, or etc., etc. Do you understand? And that's why I find that when we begin meditating, there's a lot of resistance, mainly from the ego, because it's becoming obsolete the more we meditate. And I think that the reason why, because I'm reading Conversations with God, as you know, my favorite series of books ever, that I will not stop talking about because they're so fucking amazing. But in book 7, God said, if you just meditate twice a day for 15 minutes, you will see that your whole life will begin to change. And I think, interestingly, I'm understanding now why that is, because it didn't really explain how exactly it will change, it's just that it will change. I think the reason is that the more we meditate, the further we become from the ego, the more we can observe the ego for what it really is without identifying with the ego. And therefore, the illusion, that we're all separate, etc. Because the more we meditate, the more loving we become. And physically, what happens in our bodies, from a neuroscience standpoint, is that the area of our brain responsible for empathy, for compassion, for love, for happiness, for self-control actually grows through meditation. And so we physically transform into more loving, more empathetic, more compassionate beings as we meditate. So of course, even physiologically, it's difficult for the ego then to hold on to us the more we meditate. I hope that makes sense. That was quite the philosophy right there. Alejandro says, it's true, God is everything from the atoms. Exactly. Everything that is and isn't is God. Yes, Alejandro says, this one is who John Kehoe calls the trickster, the ego. Yeah, the ego is the trickster. It keeps tricking us into believing things that aren't true. Because the truth is very simple, and that's why the other thing that I learned through meditation, it's crazy, I get all these amazing insights through meditation, or just talking about meditation, after a meditation. I think this is actually where this right here is the inspiration, what's coming out of me right now. Not even that live that I wanted to do in my community. Oh, wow, amazing. Wow. Yeah, so the other thing that the meditation taught me was that everything is much simpler than it appears, and if we believe that we are all one, that is literally the simplest concept, right? But it's hard to take that on board because it's so simple. On the one hand, it's difficult to take it on board because of the ego, but on the other hand, on a cellular level, that just feels natural to us when you say it. We are all one, and that feels good. Whereas, we're all separate, that doesn't feel good. And yeah, the we are all separate thing causes so much tension and pain in our societies, because we don't, help each other the way we can. We don't make sure that every single member of our society has enough food, has access to fresh water, has a roof over their heads. By the way, talking about all this stuff, my boyfriend is reading this really good book by Gunther Pauli, a Belgian genius dude who knows how to create self-sustainable communities and ecosystems and all this stuff. And Gunther said in his book, my boyfriend conveyed this to me, I will be reading this book after I finish Conversations with God, book 7, and a few others I have in there, but he said that the whole population of the entire planet can fit with houses, for a family of say 4 people, with full out good sized houses with good sized lots around the houses. The whole population of the whole world can fit, are you ready for this? It can fit in Texas. If that doesn't give perspective, I don't know what does. And we talk about overpopulation, we talk about not enough resources and all this fucking bullshit. It's not true. The problem is this separation that we perceive. You know, the people who control the most stuff, they don't realize how much good they can actually do while still making even more money, you know, helping tons of people. But they don't see it like that. They don't see it like that. How you can create a win-win so easily, just with a little shift right here. Elisa is from Brazil. That's cool. Hello. Yeah, that was an interesting little segue that we went off of. But I really appreciate these meditations for exactly that. For just streams of thought that seemingly, you know, come out of nowhere and go God knows where. God knows. So you can think about yourself as, I don't want to use this analogy actually. I was going to use my boyfriend's analogy for who we are and how we can become who we are again. But it's because he had this amazing epiphany, but it's his to share maybe on. I'm still convincing him to come on one of these lives with me to talk about whatever. Because he's so charming and so cute, and I'm sure that some of you would love to hear from him. Anyway, we're just here to remember who we are, and every word that we express, every action, every thought that we have is just an opportunity to be ourselves. The funny thing is, when we're not being loving, when we're not being joyful, we feel like shit. And that's because being loving and joyful is actually our natural way of being. And the longer it takes us to practice that and make it normal for ourselves, the longer we suffer. So it's just really a choice to be like, hey, I'm love, you know, and that's cool. You know, it sounds a little like, whoa, I'm love, but it also sounds super fucking positive, and it sounds easier than the opposite, doesn't it? My mother, I used to think she was crazy years ago because she actually read a bunch of these books that I'm currently reading like 10 years ago, and she would walk around saying, I am love, I am love. And I used to think she was crazy or like conceited or arrogant, like, ugh, you know, but her name literally actually means love in Ukrainian. It's a very, very nice name. It's Luba, or fully Lubov. Lubov is the official passport name, which means love, and Luba means loved, almost like. It's really gorgeous in Ukrainian. Anyway, she would walk around, I am love, I am love, I'm literally love. My parents named me love. I'm like, yes, okay. But the message was greater than that. And later, she got herself a necklace, very close to this one. And on the back, she engraved it and she wrote, I am love. And she would wear this necklace. And later, I think it was my 28th birthday, she had one made for me, exactly like hers. Very, very close. Hers just has like an extra piece on top. And on the back, it says, I am love. So in case I forget. But there was a moment once when I was being a huge asshole. Like basically my ego was ruling me in the moment and I was losing my mind. And funny enough, the necklace fell off. And that's where I was like, I had like an epiphany in that moment. And I'm like, holy fuck. I have to be love again. This does not feel good, you know? And so I apologized for whatever I was doing and kind of like did like a reset, you know, and I put the necklace back on. So it was a sign. And that's the thing. There's signs all around. Like we can, if we choose to see them, they're all around. Another thing I have to say is that we all think that we can fail, but this was a very freeing thought. That's why I'm sharing it with you guys. When I found out that I could literally not fail and that my, you know, experience here is supporting me every single moment, no matter how it appears to my little being here, my big being is taking care of shit behind the scenes. So I don't have to worry. And when I realized that, I was like, yeah, freedom. Like that means I could create from a space of abundance. I can do whatever I want from a place of abundance. I don't have to live out of fear and scarcity, because fear and scarcity is of the ego, whereas, abundance and creativity and inspiration and love is from God. It's a very heavy word because of what religions turned the word into. But on its own, it's funny because Neil, the author, he said God stands for getting over denial. Not the river in Egypt. I've been on the actual Nile in Egypt on a boat. Getting over denial, and it's just denying who we are. We come into this world denying who we are. We deny our magnificence. We pretend we're separate from God when we're not. Once we stop denying it, magic happens, It's really that simple. I think I'm doing this because this is probably my imaginary beard. That's really funny how that just happened. Perfect timing. All right, guys. You're like, what the fuck did I just tune into? I know. Okay, thank you so much for joining me. As always, it's beyond a pleasure. I really, really enjoy these meditations live with you. Join me again tomorrow at 3 p.m. Paris time. So thank you again. Ricardo says thank you. Excuse me, that was a burp. No, thank you, Ricardo. So until tomorrow, this was Olena of popthepimple.com. Bye.